Welcome to Storycomic Presents, where we interview amazing storytellers and artists. This is episode 231. I'm your host, Barney Smith of Storycomic.com, and we're excited to have back with us the board game designer and creative director and founder of NIBCARD Games and founder of the African Boardgame Convention, Kenechukwu Ogbuagu.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Barney. It's very good to be back.
It's been a long time. You've been on a couple of years ago, and now it's a good. I want to have this to be a good episode for us to catch up on some of your newest games that you've created. Last time you were on, you were talking about your Village War game that you were in development. And now, how did that come out for you?
To be honest, that was Village War. The first Village War, the one. It was an eye opener. I got again. I also thought about the context. So my own community in Nigeria, and it's actually a social game. 3 to 6 players can play. The artifacts, the powers of each of the artifacts in the game. A simple game. You shuffle all the cards, and players deal 5/5. Is a card drafting game. That means each of the card has the player that has the least number of cards at the end of the game. It's actually a very fun game. Because we don't have enough dice to go around in Nigeria, we can mass produce a lot of financial issues with our.
So how are you doing? So talk a bit about some of the other games that you've recently created over the last couple of years.
Okay, so like I was saying about Campus Wahala. So Campus Wahala is a card drafting and distribution game. We used the color mechanics where you pack a stone and you distribute it in different holes, and then there are rules of how a hole gets when it's 4. So for Campus Wahala, 2 to 6 people can play. The aim of the game is have the books card, and there are different books. Actually, books are reflected on Nigerian campuses. So we have the workbook, the textbook, the hand. So handout is a photocopy of textbooks. Copy them so on black and white. So those are handouts, and then there are the workbooks, and then there are also characters on the environment pressure. Oga VC is obviously the topmost person on campus. We have the Presido, student union government president. We have the dean. Usually, we have the court rep. So each of these reflects a character on campus. So we have the course rep, we have organizer, that one person that hosts events on campus. Like we have the postgraduate students. Once you see them on campus, these are the postgraduate students. And obviously you have the parents, they speak very, very big English. Oh, you have the campaigner. So all of these guys play a role on Campus Wahala. And Wahala means it depends on the context, but issue. So these are the troubles on campus. That's what Campus Wahala is about. We have word stake. So word stake is players is a flip and write anagram game. So players flip a card. Maybe if it is a card deck, so the color bar on the next card. So it's a flip and write game. There are pen and pads on the game, writing pads, words from a particular word. So let's say in a word like upcoming, you can form words like upcoming. Unless I can form new words. See. But anyway, so when you form these words, you got that point. So 4-letter words will earn you 2 points. 5 and 6-letter words will earn you certain forms 4 words. So on a writing pad, you see there are 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces. 4 words say stop, and everybody must stop writing, regardless of how many words you're able to form. Oh, and you can use your eraser. So each of the comes with an eraser, so you can clean them. We have Gem Hunt. Gem Hunt is a fast-paced game, so it's hand-eye coordination. So in the beginning of the game, it's played in 3 rounds of something. Players first share, exactly, yeah, that's Jam Hunt, thanks. So players first shuffle, and then that determines the jam that you're looking for in a round. Then the tiles are then shuffled. There are 8 of the same type of jam on the table. And shout jam hunt ends the round. But there are also interesting things that you can pick. Things like points if you have up to 5 of your tiles. If you're able to find 5 of your tiles, so I have my kitchen trying to stop. Then things like would also give you an extra point if you're able to find them as well. And then we have the antiseptic. So this kills off other players' jam if you're able to find it. So if you find all of these interesting things, you keep it to yourself so that at the end of the round, you now use it to deduct points from other players. So at the end of each round, you shuffle back these cards, these jam cards. Then after 3 rounds, you total, and the win obviously the player with the highest victory points. Bidding is a very interesting game. So we have, and there are lots of artwork. So bidding event where the players assume the role of agents that have been sent illegal artworks, right? And each of these characters, so the players take on these characters, and each these players hidden goals and then hidden abilities. So abilities such as buy specific artwork, or you alone can be able to sell your artwork at the so there's just different about 10. If you include the auctioneer, then 11 people can play. So these are different characters. And interestingly, we have about 8 different African characters, and we try to use names from different African countries. And then we have an Asian. Artworks are all African artworks. So we had to make the research. I think this was one of she was a queen at some point. I think in the 16th century. Yep, 16th century. Okay, so in bidding room. So there is the open bid. That is the most popular bidding mechanics where so the auctioneer calls out an item and then reads out. So open bid is the most common way of bidding, where the auctioneer reads out the information and say, if you're interested, you have 3 million that you're bidding, you can increase it to 5 million and you raise your part. 6 million going, sold, and then you reward the person. You don't see what other people are bidding. So everybody writes it down and then face down, and we all reveal it at the same time. And the person with the highest bid. The auctioneer bid is like open bid, but you don't need to write. So the auctioneer is in charge. Auctioneer start with, if you're in for 5 million, you can raise your hand up, and the auctioneer keep going up. 6 million. The most interesting one is the second prize bid. So the second prize bid is like the secret bid, and then pays the second highest. So if the person won the bid with one person, second highest person was 15 million naira. They pay 15 million naira instead of the 40 million. The game, whose secret power is that if they are the ones that are the second highest, then the winner of the bid pays 40 million instead of the 15 million that was. So we don't know. And then sometimes again, people might just make sure that the second highest price will be like something close to. So it's all in the game. It's mind game, and then keeping track of what people have spent. Oh, everyone starts with 50 million naira. So if you can't spend more than what you have, so that's bidding room.
So KC, for those that are interested in purchasing some of these games, are people overseas able to purchase your games?
At the time, people the safest place people can get NIBCARD Games is owned by Aaron of Tabletop Games Cafe. So they have a physical space, actually a very big cafe in the safest place. Some of our games are there, but people can also place an order through them. You could just Google either Tabletop Games Cafe. You can either place an order there, or you can get some of our physical copies already there. Yes, that's the safest place. We have international payments on the website because of some issues we are having. So it's safer to get it through Tabletop directly from our website, unless you're in Nigeria.
So talk to us also a bit about KC. You also have a really successful the ABC Con. Do you want to talk to us about ABC Con?
I'm actually very proud of the convention. It's been a way to introduce That's one of the reasons why we started it. And it's also been a way for a background. So the African Boardgame Convention is, to be honest, I didn't know where to, it started from tell people about modern games, games that are not the old classic that they're already aware of. The goal of AppCon, a place where enthusiasts could just come and have a good time, and seeing has grown to us, publishing our games and then having new designers, and then also bringing games from through support and donations from across the world. These foreign games games are so much more, and it also helps break stereotypes. Stereotypes I grew up, meeting was that you have to be very brilliant to play chess, or if you don't like words, then you can't play Scrabble, and you're having a good time. And What's Egg is also a word game. And then, so all those stereotypes that this year on just ended, we did a couple of weeks back, and it was amazing. We had the highest turnout, 2 new designers publishing their games. Good, those are the pictures from this year. And then we had people who have been volunteering since 2017. And for me, I see it as was a beautiful experience. We have people like, so you guys have this stuff in Nigeria. Yes, we do. And it's good.
When is that 2023 event happening?
November 2023. That's when we'll be playing AppCon.
That's really exciting. And so, is this the first gaming convention in that you know of in Africa?
No, I wouldn't say Africa. No, not Gen Con. There's Comic Con in South Africa, and I think there's there's one in Egypt. And I think when we started in 2016 was agency said it was arguably the first in West Africa, but I'm so sure it's the first in Nigeria. That I am sure. And next year, I'm also sure of one that is going to happen at a different state in Nigeria, and they are all independent of NIBCARD Games, of AppCon as well.
So what are some of your newer projects that you're working on now, Casey?
Next year, the past 2 years, entry games and party games. That's what we focus on. That we'll be working more on 2 to 4 player games. That's my focus, and also children games. Even though by age they are not dedicated to children, like I've done in the past. So maybe adults might be able to play them, but it will be the artwork will be for kids. We are looking at how do we get these games to across the world, basically. So we are currently open to publishers that are willing to even localize some of the games for 2023. But majorly, like I said, working on this new expansion as well within Nigeria and outside Nigeria.
That's cool. Now, so what are some of the, as you said, you're working on, some children's games and whatnot, and you showed like on ABCon, the African Boardgame Convention, that you also mentioned like miniature games and like role-playing games. How successful has it been to introduce, say, miniatures games and then tabletop role-playing games in Nigeria?
Miniature games, we've not even started. We just in-house. We'll be trying to, work on something that it's still playtest. It's like I'm not even sure if Bidding Room comes to tabletop role play. Players take different roles, and but it's still a tabletop game per se. So, for instance, I've not played Dungeons and Dragons yet. Right? Because I don't want to create a campaign and be a dungeon master based on what I see on YouTube or read online. I want to game, and I don't want to really do it online. I want a multiple-sided dice, maybe 12-sided dice or 20-sided dice, and Dungeons and Dragons. I'm like, no, we don't. Are you a game master? Because if we see a game master, as long as you create the campaign, I want to be part of the campaign first and have that be a dungeon master, right? So, but I've not had that experience, and I might even create a wrong experience by watching just on YouTube and reading, just to tell you where we are in terms of role play game, who was going to come to AppCon and afterwards, play games. He was coming from, had some security challenges. Just 2 weeks to AppCon, flying everyone out of Nigeria. Like it was everywhere. He had to leave. So we're hoping that he's going to come back again or someone else. Role play games, miniature games. We have Civilization. That's where we are at the moment. And that's some of the things that I'm even supporting. Personally, I want to reduce a lot of party games. I have about 7 games that are for 10 people. So 10 people can play. They say it's a lie. Like, how do you create context, right? Because when people come into the cafe or when people call you, they want to buy games.
This is great, Casey. So it's really good. I'm really happy to touch base with you, and you need to come on again. We need to come on more often because you're always making new games that are coming out. Now, so what we'll do is in the show notes for those that are in the United States, we'll send in a link to where you can pick up some NIBCARD games. But also, if people are interested in just looking at your library, they could go to NIBCARDGames.com and they'll be able to see any of that stuff, correct?
If people really, 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 really want to get our games, they can just send a DM and then I could just shipping to US for anything less than 2 kg. And funny enough, of all the games, so you can actually see how much it's going to cost. So shipping for anything less than as that, I think I saw 23,000 naira. I don't know how much 23,000 naira is in. So if they are really interested in just direct shipping, we can have conversation and I'll see what deal works. Or like I said before, they can also go through Tabletop Games Cafe and they would either get our game or place an order. So we have a working relationship.
Thank you so much, Casey. And listen, you gotta come on more often. We gotta get you back on more often so we can talk more about your board games.
Keep plenty about games. I know I talk a lot. So much for inviting me. Yes.